Welcome to the GCN Tech Clinic, where we aim to solve your problems and answer your questions, preferably about bikes. And you can submit your questions using the hashtag AskGCNTech and also drop them in the comments section down below this video and on other forms of social media. Adam D asks, you two are always great. Also, quick question. If you're in a competition race like the Tour de France, can the racers wear cameras? Well, no. The racers aren't allowed to wear cameras, so on their body, like GoPro action cameras on chest mounts and head cams and stuff like that. But the bikes can wear cameras. Although you're not allowed to put any old camera on your bike, there have to be cameras that are sort of sanctioned by the event and the organisers. So we often see special Shimano cameras put on board the bike. Sometimes they're front facing, sometimes they're rearward facing. But this is something that we're going to see more of in the future, and as part of like the racing coverage that we're going to be doing more of on GCN, I think you're going to see more integration of that in the app as well, and it's going to be really exciting because as technology is improving, I think road cycling and racing is going to become a more immersive experience for the viewers, with hopefully more cameras and more data being live streamed. So yeah, the future looks good in that respect, but it's definitely going to improve. Next question is from Uel Pakla, who says, with the popularity of cyclocross and gravel biking, why does no one use internal gear hubs, since it's made to resist all the muds and dirt that can ruin your gears? That is a good question, actually. There's a few reasons. The main one is weight. So internal hub gear systems generally weigh more, and that's a big detraction for pro cyclocross racers. One of the other reasons is drivetrain resistance. It's said that a derailleur system with pulley wheels offers less friction in the drivetrain than that. So it's a little bit more efficient with drivetrain efficiency. And the other thing is wheel changes for a lot of people. So if you're racing cross, then they're routinely swapping out wheels, or they might need to swap out wheels, at which point changing a rear wheel when it's got internal hub gears isn't as quick as just swapping out one from a standard derailleur. So that's the other kind of reason. But you do raise a good point, and it'll be interesting to see if tech does evolve in the future to, like you say, keep gears more contained and clean for those really muddy, dirty environments. The next question is from Sachi, who says, should I change from Shimano clipless pedals to Look clipless pedals? I think, short answer, no. And I would say the same if you were going the other way from Look to Shimano. It's probably not worth doing. The two pedal systems are both excellent, and they're both tried and tested, and they're both very similar. So I don't see what you're going to gain by switching from one to the other. I mean, Look are said to be slightly more aerodynamic than Shimano, but I mean, I'm going to guess that that's incredibly marginal. Even the stack height of the two pedals is very similar. Shimano does have a slightly wider platform on which the cleat rests, but again, it's not much. And I reckon if you were going to, try and do a blind test, you'd be hard pressed to tell the difference between the two if you were blindfolded. Having said that, it's more important to know why you're considering the change. I mean, you haven't put that in your question, but if you've got knee problems, then you may need to look at something else to do with your pedals. Maybe you need more float, at which point you might want to change the type of cleats you're using in the case of Shimano, or you might want to consider a whole nother pedal system, something like Speedplay, which has a lot more float and a more adjustability within the pedal system itself. We've got a question now from Italo Cicciarelli. I hope I've pronounced that correctly, probably haven't. Who says, hello, I've got a 1999 Colnago Oval Titano with a 10-speed Campagnolo Veloce and a 10-speed Campagnolo aluminium wheels. I'm trying to update and modernise the bike a bit, and right now we only have funds for a wheel set. Will I be able to ride an 11-speed wheel set with the 10-speed Veloce? Thanks. Good question. A nice sounding project that you're updating that bike. That's really cool. It's an excellent bike. And yes, you can run 10-speed Veloce on an 11-speed free hub body. That's the 11-speed wheel. It's simple. You just put a spacer on the free hub body. These often come with bikes. If not, they're available for not much money at all from most bike shops or online retailers. And yeah, if you're not sure, your local bike shop will be able to help you out, but it's a very simple thing to be able to do. Next question is from Aswalt, who says, can you put Tegra R8000 jockey wheels on Shimano 105 R7000? Yes, you can. You could even swap Dura Ace jockey wheels from Dura Ace 9000 into there if you really wanted to. But yeah, the parts are interchangeable. And we've got a question here from Alex Chatsney, who says, do you have any advice on how to take the big white stickers off the rim on Mavic Axiom wheels to look more slick and black in a way that does not damage the wheel's cosmetic? Fortunately, Alex, our grubby little fingered friend John has actually done this and done a video on this very subject. So acetone is the way to go, or another sort of solvent similar to that. You could probably use some petroleum spirit as well, and some elbow grease. So once you get on there, you get the solvent on there, it should help remove the glue which is bonding the stickers. I suggest using a lint-free cloth as well, as that will help, and just sort of wipe away. Don't use an abrasive cloth, so don't use like a kitchen scourer with an abrasive thing on it, because that will rub away. And also really powerful solvents can remove the paint as well as the decals or decals, so be wary of that. But acetone should be fine with that. And our last question this week comes from Stian Jakobsen, who says, hi GCN, I have an FSA crank set that I'm trying to get off. My problem is that the self-extracting crank arm system isn't working. I got the bolt out, but the arm didn't come off and I can't seem to move it. Do you have any advice? Thanks. Well, Stian, thanks for getting in touch. Self-extracting crank bolts can be a sort of brilliant system, but they can also be a bit of a pain, especially if you get it wrong. Now, so long as the cap is fully threaded into the crank arm, you can undo the bolt and it will pull the crank arm off. Now, the most common reason for self-extracting bolts to fail is because the threads on the cap have been stripped, which can happen, and then it becomes very difficult to remove. But based on your question, I don't think this is an issue for you, because as you've said, the bolt has come out of the arm and it's still in one place. So without sounding like patronising, I would say really double check that you've got that cap in place that you can then pull against when you extract it. Check that it's fully threaded in before trying to undo the bolt. If you still have a problem, then I would say take it to a professional mechanic at your local bike shop. But this is when you have these issues with self-extracting bolts, it really does highlight the beauty and the simplicity of just the Shimano system with the top cap. So easy. Right, well that's all we've got time for this week, so I hope you've found this GCN Tech Clinic useful, and as ever, remember to get your questions in the comments section down below and we'll seek to answer them. If you put your question in below this video, there's a very good chance we'll answer it next week, so please do that. And also don't forget to head over to the GCN shop if you'd like to get your hands on a workshop apron or some cool GCN merch.